And the second half is underway here from Turner Stadium. 0-0 in the Grant County Derby between number 22 Indiana Wesleyan and Taylor. The Wildcats attack the goal to our right. They quickly try to strike here early. And the play from Nigarungo is deflected out. That's a deep throw in here for Indiana Wesleyan from the far side corner. Each team with 7 shots in the first half, but the offside flag is in the air. That's the first offside against either team here so far tonight. Taylor, the more aggressive team when it comes to fouls in the first half. They had 9. Wesleyan had 6. The Trojans had the only 4 corner kicks in the first half. And Taylor had 1 more shot on goal, 3-2. As again, each team tallied 7 shots on the night in the first half. Winter Cassius led the way with 3 shots for Indiana Wesleyan. Matipa had 3 as well for Taylor. Sieglin taken down from behind, gets back to his feet, and now it's a handball called against the gloved Andrew Sieglin. Sieg's not happy about that one. The Trojan faithful thought that there should have been a foul earlier on Sieglin, or against Sieglin, that he drew. Matipa, long sleeves on at halftime to the middle, and Gonzalez trying to work with it, lost it, trying to get it back, could not, as it's pressed forward by Slusarczyk. He's taken down by Gonzalez. Gonzalez tried to get up to make sure he's okay, and Slusarczyk not happy about it. 10th foul against Taylor, their first one here in the second half. Denigan hustling in from the far side, dishes it off to Nigarungo. His long-range shot snagged on the fingertips, down on a knee by Spiegel. First shot of the second half for either team. Remember, Indiana Wesleyan comes in outscoring their opponents 30-7 on the year, but they were blanked 2-0 against the stingy defense of 12th-ranked Bethel on Wednesday. Through ball to Cassius, left side of the box, with Maris back to defend him. Back up top, shot was in, it was blocked away by Taylor, then Maris flicks it away with his left foot. Little might have been the one to let that one loose. Now he gets it again. Has a little bit of an angle on Maris. Sends it through to the middle. Cut away as James McBride got his foot on it right before that ball. Serpentined in and found Nigarungo, who was sprinting up the middle of the box. Throw into Slusarczyk. Back into the man that dealt it to him in Denigan. Matipa was there, bashed across the end line off of an Indiana Wesleyan foot. And Spiegel gets ready for the goal kick. Just underway here in the second half. 0-0 between Taylor and number 22 Indiana Wesleyan. Taylor comes in 3-4-4 overall. 1-0-1 in Crossroads League play for 4 points. Has them tied for third right now with Spring Arbor. Indiana Wesleyan 1-1-0. 3 points in total. They're a sole possession of 5th place. A point back of Spring Arbor and Taylor for that 3-way tie for third. And a point up on Mount Vernon Nazarene, who is in 6th. Long pass from the far side finds the feet of Pablo Gonzalez of Taylor. Cetrin goes off of Pizarro, does a nice job to hold it in. Coming back was Kuiper, and it goes off of his foot. Throw in for Indiana Wesleyan to Nigarungo. Trying to split Cetrin and Jay McBride. Cetrin got his feet back underneath of him and plays it to the near side. His clearance pass cut off by Hastings. Pizarro tries to split 2 Trojans. Gonzalez turns him away up to Sieglin. Back to get it is Kuiper. Still has not broken midfield just yet. Long pass back to Yoder. Center circle Watterson. Into space far side. Waiting to come to him is Harold, and that allows Cassius to catch up to him. To the attacking half. Harold pushes it too far, intended for Matipa. Now to play this one goes, and it's an IWU throw in here still early on in the second. Maris and Cassius collide. It goes off of whom? Maris thought it was his. It's picked up and thrown in by Little of IWU. Down up the far side to Cassius. Maris back to turn him away. Flicks it out of bounds. Slusarczyk trying to body with Matipa. Deals off to Pizarro. Right of center is Gonzalez Markson. Now Pizarro coming up right up the middle of the field. Ran away from 4 Trojan defenders. Jay McBride gets his feet on this one, and he takes it away from Santa Croce. Gonzalez poked it away, had to jump out of the challenge. Now here comes Indiana Wesleyan sprinting forward. Nigarungo to the end line, too far for the circling and sprinting Kyle Reinhardt. An update from across the county for those that you don't want to pay to watch the women's soccer match tonight. Taylor down 2-0 after 2 early goals by the 10th-ranked Wildcats. Setrin to Gonzalez. He takes the feed out from Slusarczyk. And a quick restart here by Indiana Wesleyan as Slusarczyk and Gonzalez, that have been trading bouts all night. No ill will between those two young men. As Gonzalez wanted to make sure that Slusarczyk, was okay, and he was. Big tackle there. And now Slusarczyk stands over Matipa, the man that he took down. Indiana Wesleyan keeps possession as they go all the way to the defensive end as they shoot on the goal to our right here in the second half. Denigan up to Cassius. And now we find Santa Croce. Through ball to Pizarro. Now to the near sideline and Hastings. Setrin comes in, locks up with Hastings, and now limps a little bit. Ball fought for on the near side. It went out off of Kuiper. And IWU's got a throw in, but Hastings bent over at the waist, limping a little bit, favoring that right leg. Slusarczyk gliding in, passing back to Nigarungo. The pass was cut down by Yoder. Everybody stopped for the time being, and now Setrin presses the issue. Gonzalez with nobody coming in to defend him. Worked it up to Sieglin, runs back into pressure, back to James McBride, the center back, into the outside back to Harold. Almost bounced away from Matt, and now he engages forward to Brian Matipa. Wanted to turn over that left shoulder, now circles to the middle from the far side. This pass skips off the newly minted turf, about 2 months old. Kuiper wanted to work to his left, and Setrin had to go to his right. Good job there by IWU to turn away the Trojans up the near sideline. Now Gonzalez brings it in, passing in to one of Sieglin. It was cut off by Reinhardt of Indiana Wesleyan. Jay McBride knifes it down, out of play, and IWU's got a throw in from the defensive end in front of the Taylor bench, down below us and to our left. Hastings throws it in. Setrin heads it up and straight out of play. And now Hastings can throw it in front of his own bench. Maris right there with Cassius. He sleeks away from him. Jay McBride comes in, bounces into him, loses his footing. Maris comes in to pick up the loose change. Now Cassius able to win it away from Maris, but the ball went across the end line off of the orange feet of Cassius, the leading goal scorer for Indiana Wesleyan. And the Trojans have a goal kick here. Just over 8 minutes gone here in the first half, or the second half, excuse me. Cassius with 7 of the 30 goals this season for Indiana Wesleyan. Nigarungo lost it, and now Matipa squirts out of the fray with a head of steam. Wanted to center it, wanted Watterson. It was cut down by someone in red, and then Matipa's going to get a card here as he wraps his leg around Cole Little, and they both go tumbling down to the turf. The Taylor students don't like it, but that's the right call. Matipa trying to get that position as he wrapped that leg around, pulled on the shoulder of Cole Little. And for the second time in the last few minutes, Indiana Wesleyan too quick on the restart. Our official had not even put Matipa in the book yet, and hence the couple quick short whistles to bring the ball back towards the far side. Taylor pressuring here off the free kick. Matipa trying to take it away as he fought for it on the turf. Now coming in is Watterson. He's taken out high in the air, and Siegelin presses it in. Here comes Kuiper all the way out on the fingertips of Carr. Keep the ball on the turf and send Kuiper flying as he's still down inside the box. Aaron Carr with the best save of the night on the Trojans, arguably their best offensive scoring chance. Good to see both Carr and Reinhardt help Kuiper to his feet, but he is holding that left wrist a little bit. Carr came sliding in, got those strong arms shown off by the medium type jersey that he's wearing tonight, but massive arms there for the almost 200-pound keeper. And it sent Carr held onto that ball tightly, and it sent Kuiper flying through the air. But good to see Reinhardt, one of the captains for IWU, come over and check on the freshman Kuiper. It's been a physical match tonight, but both teams have tried to check on their opponents, and neither one's taken a pretty big spill. But if I had muscles like Carwood, I'd probably wear a shirt that size too. So Cam Broadfoot comes in here to replace Kuiper, who is on a dead sprint up the near side of the field. Just below 36 minutes remaining here in this second half. It all started with Matipa fighting for that free kick back on the far side. Was able to win it back after it looked to be going to be a free play there for Indiana Wesleyan. Now the Trojans trying to turn up the pressure on Little. He passes toward the far sideline. Taylor flying around, trying to turn over in the offensive end, and they do. Broadfoot to Watterson, far sideline Matipa. Now he's got to wait for reinforcements, trying to dance to the end line. Lost it, got it back off the end line. Off of who? Off of those wearing red, and Denigan. So the big run there for Kuiper. He's been taken to the medical tent to take a look at that right arm, but Taylor gets their first corner of the second half, and they now have all 5 corner kicks of the match so far. Two Trojans over there. Gonzalez, left-footed in-swinger towards the 18. Loose still inside, and it's snagged away by Carr as Maris came flying in through the middle, cut in front of Carr, but couldn't make contact with it as the IWU keeper able to haul that one away. Bouncing into the 18 on the punt, and the keepers send one to their respective counterpart as Spiegel able to snag that one as he had McBride, his teammate, and Nigarungo barreling down onto him. Yoder dancing away from 3 players. Broadfoot up off the face and the chest of his defender Hastings, out off of those wearing red, and Taylor gets ready for the throw in here with Cetron. Cetron trying to throw it into space. Sieglin got out jumped from behind, and now Little presses forward. Santa Croce, scrum in the middle, and it's Maris with the ball at his feet for TU. Long pass Matipa, feels the pressure, and now circles to the middle. Matipa can really scoot. Had a 50-yard dribble to score that 3rd goal for Taylor on Wednesday as he deals off near side to Cetron, pressing forward to the freshman Broadfoot. Missed it. Matipa trying to play it in, and now a foul is called as Matipa came in, and the defender screaming down on the end, holding onto his ankle, draws the foul on Matipa. Matipa being talked to here by our lead official. And now Kyle Reinhardt is the one that looked to be hurt, and now he's the speaking captain, talking with our lead official. Watterson, the speaking captain for Taylor over there, trying to have a discussion too. Carr, the keeper, trying to come out and calm down Reinhardt. Hastings, the one, back on top of this free kick. So we approach 33 minutes remaining in the second half of one that's had the intensity ratcheted up a few notches here in the second half so far. Carr has a simple flick and drives that thing forward beautifully. Carr, a powerful athlete that's punched away a couple of shots tonight. Had the big stop on the streaking run by Kuiper, and then has shown off that massive leg with a couple impressive punts here tonight that have sailed 20 yards beyond midfield. This pass into the box, a little traffic in front of the intended man, Nigarungo. And before the Taylor goal kick, it looks like John Alzate gets his first second half appearance in place of Andrew Sieglin. So Sieglin stays. It's Matipa that comes out. Now Pizarro, his shot to the far side is in as he kicked it between the legs of James McBride and puts it in on the far side post. Wonderful run there by Jose Pizarro, and Indiana Wesleyan strikes They lead 1-0 with 31:54 remaining here in the second half. First shot of the night for Pizarro, and it lands in the back of the net. Goal comes in the 59th minute. And Pizarro blowing kisses up to the IWU faithful that are filling the seats to our right. And now Pizarro 2 goals off of the team lead of Cassius with his 5th tally to go with his Crossroads leading 6 assists on the year. Gonzalez to the middle and Watterson. Taylor down by 1. Kuiper out of the medical tent. Passing near side to Broadfoot. On the near side of the box, dancing towards the middle. Laying it back to Gonzalez. Traffic is there, kicked away. Setrin able to knock it down and hold it in on the near sideline as the Taylor students rose to their feet, anticipating a potential game-tying shot was on the way. Flicked away by the IWU defense as they press forward as Cassius comes back to get it with those neon orange boots. Gonzalez and Broadfoot made life difficult for him as it's played out and deflected out of bounds near side, and a throw in for Macklin Hastings of Indiana Wesleyan. Good to see Kuiper back out of the tent. Does have some tape on that right thumb or left thumb and wrist. Yoder to Watterson. Over to Harold. Bounces off of his foot, and now Nigarungo hot on his heels. Harold gets it away from pressure, but right to the feet of the waiting Denigan, who's been really active creating things for Indiana Wesleyan defensively or offensively tonight. Centering ball far side. Cassius between 2 defenders. Spiegel off the line and snags it with ease. Anytime 14 in red gets inside the box, Cassius has a Trojan on either side of him for more times than not tonight. Yoder got it deflected away from him, but the ball found the feet of Alzate. Harold to Gonzalez's comeback, who comes back as an outlet, easy enough for me to say. Setrin near sideline, putting it forward, being tugged on behind by Reinhardt, still able to get it off to Cassius. Trying to put McBride on the turf, passing it forward to Nigarungo, who cuts it down. Had a man to his right, didn't give it to him. Cassius sends it in. It might have gotten deflected as Yoder rolling over on the turf in pain. 4th save of the night for Sam Spiegel. And good to see Yoder pop back to his feet. Sophomore from Delaware, Ohio, and Worthington Christian. Had a couple pretty good athletes from Worthington Christian over the years. We've talked about 2 of them already. Alana Rakes, now Alana Crawford, Connor Crawford. Those is of the recent variety. James McBride from the defensive end. Telegraph pass, easily intercepted for the time being for a brief moment by Hastings, but it was taken back away by Setrin. Left footing up the near side. Nobody home for Taylor. And all the way back is Carr in the goal box. There's that big punt from Carr. Bounces off the turf, high bounce. Nigarungo slicing in on Maris, but he heads it across the end line. And Taylor gets ready for another goal kick here from Spiegel. And before we can see the play continue, Siegelin out, and Daniel Pastor makes his first appearance of the night. He'll take one of the outside forward spots, and that moves Alzate to the 9 at the center forward. Spiegel drives it up 7 yards across midfield. Pizarro, the goal scorer, dribbles it out in front of the Taylor bench. Broadfoot to Yoder with pressure for the time being. And he'll lift it over to the far side where it's Matt Harold. Right footing it in deep. Wanted Watterson, couldn't connect cleanly as Keat was right there. Then again forward. To the middle and Little. And then Pizarro back to the far side and Keat. Less than 28 minutes remaining here in this second half. Taylor down 1-0 to number 22 Indiana Wesleyan. Looking for the equalizing tally here in the second half. 3 points are on the line. Indiana Wesleyan trying to leapfrog Taylor and potentially Spring Arbor to take sole possession of third. Taylor comes in tonight just 2 points back of the two top-ranked teams in the league, Bethel and Grace. Bethel 12, Grace number 7. Santa Croce lays it off to Cole Little. Cassius back to Santa Croce. To the end line, Nigarungo can't get to it as it rolls over the end line by about 2 paces before he could stop it. Pastor for Taylor off of the goal kick. Watterson with pressure from behind, deals off to Yoder. Yoder gives it away, and Nigarungo took it away. Santa Croce bumped down by Yoder, and they whistle Yoder for the foul. He can't believe it. The Taylor students can't believe it. The old chant of I don't know, made famous by Clay Vanderkolk, who graduated a year ago. Someone hollered out that Levi Yoder's a good guy. He is a good guy, but does get called for the shoulder bump foul there. 14th foul on Taylor here on the evening, 5th in the second half. And we sit below 26 minutes remaining in the second half. Indiana Wesleyan looking for an insurance tally here with Giuseppe Santa Croce, the Englishman, right from the middle of the field on a free kick. Spiegel trying to direct where he wants, which side he wants Pablo Gonzalez, the 6'2 Spaniard, to stand on. It's a 5-man wall as Pizarro stands dangerously close to Santa Croce. Right foot blocked by the wall, still into the 18. Nice box out by Cetron to keep the offensive player tucked behind him. Now Cetron stole the pass in tight quarters. Broadfoot came back to win it, and it's kicked out by the Wildcats. Fan favorite Webby Peary in for Taylor to give Gonzalez a blow. Taylor gets it away from trouble, but right to midfield where it's easy work for Austin Keat. Harold comes in, applied pressure to Nigarungo. Pastor, the Hungarian, caught between two Wildcats, and he gives it away. Nigarungo, along with Little, took it off of the toe. Up to Cassius. Nice pass in traffic. Trying to get it back to Cassius. Deterred off his line by Maris, and the ball rolls to the end line. Out, and it's a Taylor goal kick. Really nice play there in tight quarters there by Indiana Wesleyan. Santa Croce trying to dish it off to Cassius. But a couple little extra feet got in the way there for Taylor, and then Maris able to guide Cassius off of his path. And again, Taylor's got to bring it from the back once again. They have not had the ball in the offensive end for much time here in the last handful of moments. Pastor fighting for it with Nigarungo, deals it off, and Pizarro able to steal it. In the middle to Little. The top, spinning is Santa Croce, spins into the defender, now runs away from pressure. Far side of the box and Little with Harold marking him. Back to the top, rising shot over the crossbar and maybe through the goalposts on the try from Tim Slusarczyk. After each team had 7 shots in the first half, Indiana Wesleyan has taken all 6 here since halftime. And they find themselves leading 1-0 with almost 23 minutes remaining in regulation time. Harold pirouettes through 2 defenders. Now Alzate, the Colombian, racing up the far side. Trying to work it back into Harold. Pass was too far for him. Cleared out across the far side by Kyle Reinhardt. Taylor head coach Gary Ross shouting to make sure that he can get Brian Matipa back in for TU. Matipa, arguably their best one-on-one offensive player. He replaces Pastor. Maris ready to throw it in on the far sideline. Two-handed heave. Yoder flicks it back in. Matipa tried to lunge and get a piece. Near side Watterson with the defender and Pizarro right on his back. Lays it back to Cetrin. Dances around from Pizarro. Flicking it near side to Cetrin. Sets his feet and sends it towards the middle of the box. Nobody home except the keeper Carr, who makes the easy two-handed snag. Big boot from Carr. Jay McBride couldn't get in front of Nigarungo. Now getting help from Broadfoot. Nigarungo flicking it back to Pizarro. Our goal scorer of the night taken down by Broadfoot. 15th foul on Taylor here on the night. Their 6th of the second half. On the other side, Indiana Wesleyan has committed just 1 foul here since the halftime stoppage. And now they'll stop the clock as Pizarro was late to get back up, but it's Nigarungo, the one that I think they're more worried about, as he's still on his back as he got tangled up again down here on the near sideline. Sports medicine staff onto the field will take a break. Just about 21 and a half minutes remaining here in the second half. It's a 1-0 IWU lead here on the Trojan Sports Network. Nigarungo able to get back to his feet. And now 2 of our officials talking. It's going to be a free kick from the near side here for Indiana Wesleyan, with Jose Pizarro, the only goal scorer tonight for either team, standing over the ball. And Nigarungo still on the field. They're going to have him jog off since the sports medicine staff came on to the field to check on him. Good to see Brandon is okay. Was down laying on his back for a while. So he's going to have to go all the way back to midfield to re-enter. IWU head coach Matt Reeb in his 3rd season wanting to get the subs back on. And they're actually, I think, just going to bring in Gary Mills as a sub for Indiana Wesleyan and for Nigarungo. Pablo Gonzalez in for Taylor. He replaces Webby Peary. Two more subs, one for either team waiting to come in. They will not be allowed to enter right now. Pizarro over the 2-man wall. In-swinger to the middle of the box. Deflected twice. Still near side. And Broadfoot drives away from immediate pressure. Keat bashing it far side over the head of Harold. Right on top of it. Little sends it in. Spiegel pokes it over the top of the box. It went up and off the goalposts of the football goalposts. And even though the ball went in, it'll be a corner as Spiegel poked it over the crossbar, went over the soccer crossbar, went off the football goalpost crossbar. And that's out of play, and so it's going to be a corner here for Indiana Wesleyan. It's their first corner of the night, but the Wildcats an inch or two away. If Spiegel doesn't push that one up and over the crossbar, the soccer crossbar, it easily was going to be 2-0 Indiana Wesleyan as Spiegel didn't have time to get his bearings with the ball popping back into the field of play. Less than 21 minutes remaining in regulation time. Indiana Wesleyan and Jose Pizarro with his 5th goal of the year has given Indiana Wesleyan a 1-0 lead. A blistering one into the 18. Taylor looking for a handball. Doesn't come. Still loose in the box. Flicked away as Taylor players go tumbling down all over. Matipa comes flying back in, and with his back to the player, Bach blocks it with the bottom of his boot and across the crossbar. And after having no corners for the first almost 60 minutes of action, Indiana Wesleyan gets 2 here in the last couple of moments. Pizarro again with that right foot from the near side corner. Right-footed outswinger, deflected towards the back post. Still loose near the goal box, kicked straight into the air by Broadfoot of Taylor. IWU regroups. Slusarczyk racing away from Matipa, laying it back to Pizarro. Up the near side, and Hastings crosses with the right foot, backpedaling Spiegel. It almost got headed in from the backside by Cassius, as it looked like Spiegel thought that one was going to get out of play. And now Alzate tackled from behind with an arm bar in the lower back, as both he and the man that took him down, Kyle Reinhardt, on the turf, and Reinhardt awarded the card. Both he and Alzate exchanged pleasantries. Both are okay. No harm done between either man. Again, tonight has been a super physical match. 22 fouls called and 4 cards issued. There's been no ill will, that at least we can see, from up here in the booth between these two county rivals. Maris and Jay McBride. And now Cetron comes to help them out on the defensive end. Broadfoot wanted to curl it to the middle. He sent it right to Santa Croce. Flicks it forward. Pizarro too far for the speedy Santa Croce. Brock Carpenter walking his way onto the field for Taylor, and Jonas Bakari in for Indiana Wesleyan. Broadfoot out for the Trojans. We did not see the man that exited for the Wildcats. Walked right down and tried to get a coat on. It looks like it is a little bit cool here this evening. Watterson, after the takeaway, helped by Gonzalez. Near side of the fresh legs of Brock Carpenter. Gonzalez wanted to flick it forward, couldn't get it to Alzate with pace, and Indiana Wesleyan clears it out on the near side. Taylor with the throw-in upcoming. Taylor's been outshot tonight by 10 in the match and here in the second half. It was 7-7 shots at halftime, but it's 10-0 Indiana Wesleyan here in the second half. Maris backs all the way up on the concrete and fires it into the left side of the box. Headed back out to him. Knocks it down, flicks it on into space. Gonzalez back to Maris, ready to get back to his feet. Beautiful pirouette. Gonzalez to the backside post. Watterson trying to cut in. Couldn't deflect it on goal. Matipa dancing on the end line here with Denigan. Matipa poking it forward. Alzate trying to come to help him out. Does and keeps possession. Alzate circling. Now back to the end line. Looking to cross. Does. Deflected. No. Went clean out off the right foot of John Alzate. Andrew Sieglin and Ben Kuiper back on for Taylor. Good to see Kuiper back out there after injuring his left wrist earlier in the second half. Alzate and Carpenter exit. Less than 17 and a half minutes remaining here in the second half. It's been all IWU since halftime as they've outshot Taylor 10-7. And more importantly, they've got the only goal of the match so far. Goal kick here. Taylor's been playing a lot of defense here in half two. And Yoder from the defensive end cannot get it cleanly up to one of his mates. It got deflected down. Watterson wanted Gonzalez, but was taken away by Pizarro and out of play. Jackson Carpenter out of Muskegon, Michigan, waiting to come on for Indiana Wesleyan at the next opportunity. Matipa got tangled up a little bit, still able to get it off to Harold. And then back to the middle of the defensive end and Jay McBride. Long pass to Cetron, almost taken away by Pizarro. IWU got a piece of it, and they flick it forward up the near side. Cetron cuts in and makes sure that Pizarro can't get a clean touch. And now Carpenter enters for the 22nd ranked IWU Wildcats. And he takes the spot of Cole Little. Deflected off of Taylor on the near side throw-in. IWU throws in the box. Cassius got around Maris. Nice pinpoint stop there by Spiegel. Setron able to get it away from trouble. Couldn't get it out cleanly. Pizarro shot, knife down by the right foot of Setron of Taylor. Sieglin stops and starts as he crosses midfield. The defender tugging on his arm, that's Hastings. And now the foul is called. Hastings not happy about it. Or maybe as one of his teammates. As we approach just 15 minutes remaining here in the second half, Taylor needs to start getting some shots. And they need to start getting them quick. Gonzalez tried to flick that one out. About 10 yards ahead of where it was supposed to be, and he had to back up. Two defenders around him. Every time Taylor's had the ball here on the near side, they've had to deal with at least two IWU defenders, and their offense has been stuck in neutral here in the second half. Denigan getting away from the pressure of Brian Matipa. And IWU goes back into the defensive end, and now the keeper Carr. Forward, but right to Setron, the head of Taylor. Watterson down into space. Sieglin tried to come help. Watterson near side to Kuiper. Kuiper shoots, trying to go to the far 90, and he played it up and over. First shot of the second half towards frame, and Kuiper put it a little bit too high and a little bit too far. Remember, it was Kuiper sprinting like his hair was on fire up the near side earlier in this second half. And the ball just got a little bit too far out in front of him. Carr stopped it on a dime, and then as Kuiper ran into it, he went flying, and that's how he dinged up his left wrist. Gonzalez heads it off the back of an IWU player, bounces right back to his feet. Forward to Watterson, out into space in Matipa. Matipa circles. Lays it off to Gonzalez on the far sideline. Left foots it all the way to the near side as Setron's got a race, and he gets there in time to knock it down. Has Kuiper in front, curls it in left foot, couldn't play to the head of Sieglin. It was right, one man was right there in front of him. It was Keat that cut it off for the IWU defense. Maris reads the pass, steps in front, wanting to go up to Matipa. Matipa with the ball at his feet, circling and dancing to the middle. Here comes Brian Matipa, pointing where he wants someone to go. Now he's caught in trouble. Nobody there except those wearing red. But Yoder able to hold it in for Taylor in the offensive half for the brief time being. Gets tied up with Bakari, who flicks it out to the far side, and Carpenter. Carpenter racing across midfield, waving for reinforcements, and he gives the ball right off to Setron of Taylor. IWU backing and falling back with heavy defensive pressure, knowing they've got to defend for just 13 more minutes, and they'll pick up a key 3 points to move to the top 3 in the league standings. Curling ball far side, bouncing away from Denigan, finding Matipa. Wanted to pirouette away. Denigan was ready for it and poked it away as Matipa was spinning. Long pass, red, deflected on, flag on the far side, foul on Matipa. Taylor has had more fouls than shots here in the second half. And time starting to become the enemy of TU, down by 1 to number 22 Indiana Wesleyan. Bakari lays it off to Pizarro, then back to Bakari. Up to Pizarro, scored the first goal of the night. Trying to look for number 2 here, and he gets it to the upper 90. A wonderful tally for Jonas Bakari as Taylor left him too open in the middle of the field, and he blasts it to the upper 90. 2 goals for Bakari, and it's 2-0 Indiana Wesleyan with 12:09 remaining here in regulation time. So Pizarro with both goals tonight on 2 shots for Indiana Wesleyan. He comes off and gets a much-deserved high fives and handshakes from his teammates and coaching staff. First one came in the 59th minute. The second one comes here in the 78th. Sixth goal of the year to go with his league-leading 6 assists. So both Pizarro and Cassius exit. A couple of different subs, 3 subs in total come in here for Indiana Wesleyan. Parker Stewart, one of them. Back in is Brandon Nigarungo. Good to see him back out there after getting a little dinged up here earlier in the half. They wanted Cole Little, who's also back in there as well for the Wildcats. Harold wanting Siegelin. Back flicks it on, but nobody home in purple. Watterson stepping in. Left arm being tugged. The left arm still being tugged. Slipping on through. Far Kuiper again, and Carr scoops it up. But a foul and a whistle all the way back in the middle of the field. Yellow card coming out here. Clock stops with 11 minutes remaining here in the second half. The foul's on 20 Reinhardt. That's the second yellow of the night. But it also could have been on 26 Lusarchik, who's both there as well. It was just the yellow. It wasn't the red. But if it's on 20 Reinhardt, that's his second yellow, and it's a red. And I think they're going to put a little extra time back on the clock as well. So right now it's on Slusarchik, and that's the 4th yellow card against Indiana Wesleyan tonight. And now I think we're going to add a little bit more time on the clock. 11:20. It's going to put 11:20 back on the clock. Probably something they should have relayed to us before they put the ball back into play, but you know, it's semantics. And now we're back into play. So Aaron Carr with the massive punt again. That thing sails 25 yards over midfield with ease. It's a rocket and a cannon attached to the right hip of the keeper, Aaron Carr. Jay McBride sending it forward for Taylor. Cannot connect with Siegelin cleanly. As we dip below 11 minutes remaining here in the second half, Taylor down by 2 to 22nd ranked Indiana Wesleyan. Setrin got a heel on it. And now Gonzalez. Double teamed on the near side, trying to get out of it. He's jostled around. He gets pushed and looks for a foul that doesn't come. IWU trying to take advantage with the stoppage and play from Gonzalez. Nigarungo running away. Bluffs the shot as Gonzalez was there to stop. Now they dish it off near side. Bakari's left-footed shot deflected wide and across the end line. It's a goal or corner kick upcoming here for Indiana Wesleyan. Has Jackson Carpenter in there as well. Trying to make it a 3-0 Wildcat advantage. So Jonas Bakari set to take this corner kick from the near side. Both hands in the air. He can play it in with his left foot on an in-swinger. That's exactly what he does. Near side post headed away by Harold. Jay McBride blasts it forward with his left foot, but nobody in purple. Back near midfield. Siegelin sprinting back to try to put some pressure on the back line of IWU. Keat to Denigan. Back again to Keat. Short pass in the middle. Kuiper a little bit too late to get some heavy pressure on Reinhardt. Back to the keeper, Carr, who right foot's one forward. And the offside flag in the air. the time, the enemy of the Trojans here, down 2-0 with 9:20 remaining in the second half. Alzate to the middle. Over the head of Watterson. John gets back. He's got Stewart right on his hip. Grabs onto his shoulder longingly. Now here's Little out of Indianapolis. Nigarungo shuffling his way past defenders. Back to Stewart, who trails the play. He's got some room right side. Lets it go. And oh, look at the stop by Sam Spiegel. He caught that thing with two hands and held it there impressively. Back at the offensive player, Stewart. Seventh save of the night here for the talented sophomore Spiegel. But the Trojans have been outshot 15-1 tonight here in the second half, and that's been the biggest difference. As we were scoreless after the first 45 minutes, but goals in the 59th and 78th minutes have given Indiana Wesleyan this 2-0 lead as they try to get back on the winning side of things after dropping a 2-0 setback to number 12 Bethel on Wednesday. Taylor defeated Huntington 3-0 on this field here Wednesday night as well. Spiegel, the leader in the Crossroads League in saves coming in, and the second goal really had no chance to make it. It was such a wonderful shot from Pizarro, and the first one didn't really have that much of a chance to stop it as well. But Spiegel's made some really key stops tonight, particularly back in that first half. Taylor trying to loop it into Watterson, trying to swim his way through the defender. Couldn't get there as both players go tumbling to the turf. It was Keat that slowed the progress of Watterson. And now a quick breakout here with Stewart on the near side for IWU. Back is Jay McBride. Bakari trailing if Stewart wants him. Goes to the middle. Stewart taken down. Far side. That one almost takes Carpenter back on his heels, and he caught it with his chest. Carpenter maneuvering to the middle. Away from a challenge here. Gets it back at the top of the box near side as IWU shoots on the goal to our right. Bakari eluding a defender. Nice little pirouette off a pass to Carpenter. Back heel flick near side to Bakari. Pressing up to Little. It's taken away from him, and Gonzalez bashes it forward as Sieglin dances away from pressure. Sieglin to Matipa. To the midline and Sawyer Watterson. Left-footed back near side to Cetrin. And the outside back steps across the midline. Gonzalez doesn't want to press it forward as Taylor trying to cut into the 2-0 deficit with 6.5 minutes remaining before the final whistle blows. Offense has been hard to come by for Taylor in the second half. Just one shot. Harold. Feet taken out, but it went off of him as well, and subs allowed to come back in here for the Wildcats and the Trojans. Santa Croce and Cassius in for the Wildcats. Broadfoot in for Taylor. I wanted to put the goal scorer Pizarro back in, but the Chilean held on the near sideline for the time being. Less than 6 minutes to go here in the second half from Turner Stadium in Upland, Indiana. They're trying to avoid dropping their third loss at home on the year. Sieglin racing to the end line. It rolls out. And he's going to set up for a Taylor corner. Trojans have to hurry with 5:30 left to go in this one. IWU unblemished on the road this year, 2-0-1. Watterson gives off to Gonzalez, back to Watterson, left edge of the box, sends it in over everybody's head. And to the end line is Matipa with a bicycle flick back in. Pushed away from him, far side Broadfoot shoots, and just punching it away was Carr. His most spectacular save of the night keeps Taylor off the board again with less than 5 to go in regulation. Two subs come on. Moses Kabuswe for the Trojans and Jose Pizarro in for the Wildcats. So a near side corner, Watterson and Gonzalez again. Watterson gets it back. Now a defender out in front to the backside post. Headed away by IWU. Alzate trying to hold it in. Bouncing around, still loose in the 18, flicked away by the Wildcat defense. Flipping in, Watterson got his shoulder on it, trying to dance away from the defender Little. Both jockeying for position. Watterson lost his footing as he has Little pinned on his back. Watterson spins, kicked out of bounds off the freshman Little, who's been impressive out of Indianapolis tonight. I believe Cole is the young man from North Central High School, the soccer power there on the north side of town, which is also my alma mater. Cole and I graduated just a couple of years apart. More than 10. Backside play. Taylor off for the free kick. Kent away out of that goal again. Just 2 shots the entire second half here for Taylor, as they've been playing a ton of defense here since the second half whistle blew. 3.5 to go here in the second half. Taylor down by 2. They need shots and they need goals. They need them quick. Watterson off the shoulder into Sieglin. Flicks it forward. Not enough juice, and Carr smothers it up. It was Kyle Reinhardt, the one to stop the progression of the senior Sieglin for Taylor. Carr rockets one away with that powerful right leg. Flicked out near side. And Levi DeRuiter, freshman from Grand Rapids. Clock stops. So we'll put 2:53 back on the clock with Indiana Wesleyan subbing here in the last couple of minutes, and with the lead, the clock stops each time. It did not stop the last time because Taylor also was bringing in Kabuswe. That's why the clock still ran. DeRuiter fires that one in about 40 yards towards the end line. Maris got in ahead of it. Cetrin works it up near side. Broadfoot banged into from behind, and then glared at by Tim Slusarchik. Two and a half minutes left to go in this one. Indiana Wesleyan looking for their 8th win of the season and trying to get to 6 points in Crossroads League play. A car alarm ringing out in the background. Its owner nowhere to be found. Kabuswe freshly in for Taylor off the bench. And now a second car alarm goes off. Also good. Gonzalez to the middle, and Watterson. Off to Broadfoot. Had to come back to get it. And that allows the defense to get back in front of Cetrin. Hits the brakes as 3 defenders collapse in front of him. IWU clears it back near midfield as we dip below 2 minutes remaining here in the second half. Broadfoot. Poked away. Maris down to Jay McBride for Taylor. Able to elude Cassius for the time being. Harold. Trying to get it back from Kabuswe. Could not. And with 80 seconds left, Indiana Wesleyan well on their way to the all-important 3 points tonight. Taylor will fall at least a couple of spots here in the league as IWU will leapfrog them with 3 points tonight to move to 6. Taylor's will stay at 4. And depending on what Spring Arbor does tonight, they will either also have IWU leapfrog them as well, or they'll at least be able to keep pace and be 1 spot ahead of the 22nd ranked Wildcats. For the shots tonight, 22-10 in favor of Indiana Wesleyan, but 15-3 after halftime. And Taylor also doubled up in shots on goal, as the Taylor offense has had some really good opportunities there in the first half, just could not get anything together here after the halftime stoppage. Less than 30 seconds here. Taylor trying to get one last push here tonight. And then coming out, and Jay McBride got his shoulders grabbed onto. But since Taylor had clean possession, no stoppage, and now there is a stoppage with 8.9 seconds left, and a yellow card has come out here against Cole Little. 8.9 seconds left to go in this one. And we'll see if Alzate can get this one deep into the 18. A whole bunch of commotion happening about 3 yards in. Alzate sends it right to the scrum. Kabuswe heads it in. Kept away by DeRuiter, excuse me. And this one rolls away, and that does it. Indiana Wesleyan gets 2 second-half goals, both by Jose Pizarro, the freshman from Chile, and the Wildcats of Indiana Wesleyan.